and Senator Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, good morning. I thank you for taking the time to participate in this, and I recognize that as the committee has asked, we brought you in here because we want to learn as much as possible and share that with the American public. I'd also like to take this time to, as my other colleagues have done, to recognize the Guardsmen who are keeping our capital city safe, especially the 2 West Virginians who were so viciously attacked last month. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and her family grieving her tragic loss, and Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who survived but has a long road to recovery ahead. Their presence in America's capital made a significant difference, and we honor their service and their sacrifice. Gentlemen, as you know, the National Guard has been deployed to assist with domestic security since before the Constitution was written. Our National Guard has often been deployed to assist in law enforcement operations when state and local authorities were unwilling or unable to do so, ranging from enforcing desegregation laws to helping quell riots. Based on your analysis of historical deployments of the National Guard, do these deployments initiated by the current administration deviate in any material way from the domestic National Guard deployments initiated by previous administrations? And I'm going to start with Mr. Young. I'd really like you, if you could, you've kind of done it a little bit for a number of different members, but you've given a historical context for the legal framework and the use of federal troops for domestic missions. But could you take a few minutes and kind of bring the committee and those listening kind of up to speed as to how this works and the political background on how we actually use the National Guard throughout our history and the legal framework for doing so?
Thank you, Senator. I would be happy to. The nation established a framework of state, federal authorities in being able to administer the National Guard. And in many ways, as the country developed, the National Guard was considered the force of first resort, rather than bringing in troops from the regular Army or the active component Army or Navy or Air Force. The Founding Fathers wanted to resort to utilizing the National Guard because they were citizens and from the communities that were involved. And these books that I have here are just books on the role of federal military forces in domestic disorders. And there's tons of examples of that. It's quite voluminous. There's lots of examples over the course of the nation's history. And most of the deployments that are done in the cooperation or with the cooperation of state authorities. State authorities ask for it. State authorities are in control. Most of them are state funded many times and state operated. But there are times when, say for instance in Katrina, and needing to be able to address a disaster that was coupled with civil disturbance, the scope and magnitude of the circumstances or the nature of it necessitate federal funding, but they're still under state control. But the Constitution recognized that there would be certain exigent times at which time the country and the president would need to be able to act quickly and be able to mobilize the militia to be able to respond to the threats that were present. And they're enumerated not only in the Constitution, but in the statute that you wrote.
And when we talk about federal funding, but under state control, we call that Title 32. If it's under federal funding and under the direction of the president, it's Title 10. Fair to separate?
That's accurate, Senator.
And so in this particular case, we have 2 different sections that are utilized. Can you share for just a minute, please, how critical it is to be able to differentiate between those 2 uses for the National Guard and the training that goes in to the Guardsmen and their officers about how to understand the differences, please?
Yes, Senator. The distinction is critical. When National Guard personnel are in a Title 32 status, they're subject to the control, direction, and authority of state officials. The governor is their commander-in-chief. When they are ordered to federal service, that by federal law, 32 U.S.C. 325, That relationship with the state is severed by federal law, and the president becomes their commander-in-chief through the commander of NORTHCOM. And that then governs the rules for the use of force. When they're in state authority, they're following state rules, state law, state responsibilities. When they're in a Title 10 status, they're following the standard rules for the use of force that are under General Guillot's concern, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Rounds.